share with you the so the last time we were discussing different types of users. Can you tell me like the type of users we have discussed last time? Yes. Couple of users that we have discussed. Who are the users of computers? Yes, we discuss programmer. Okay, programmer who develops a program that we have discussed, right? And then we were discussing network administrators, like we will talk about this later on. When you connect computers together, we say you form a network. And when you create a very large network, like in school, university, even the covering country like internet, we need like personnel to manage and maintain the networks. Then system analysis, persons who develop the information systems. Then we have software engineers who develop for the systems. And then complete application assistant who use day-to-day applications like typing or making Excel sheets, like simple calculation. And then we have web developers, those who actually develop. Right, those who develop the websites. So these are different types of user. Now, why we have discussed the different types of users? Because they need different requirements. Like programmer is use computers for coding. Network administrators, they maintain network. So their purpose is different. Their tasks are different. So when we select computers, we have to select different types of computers for different types of users. So that's the first thing we need to discuss, right? Okay, right. Then user requirements. You know, when you have a computer, you are doing different things, right? Dhananjani, what do you do? What do you do using the computer? Yes, what do you do in the computer? You have a computer, right? You are connecting through a computer or a mobile. Dhananjay? Are you connecting through a mobile or are you connecting through a computer?
I am connecting through laptop.
Okay, laptop. You have a laptop. So what do you do with the laptop? You watch.
I am preparing presentations.
Okay, you prepare presentation. So when you purchase it, I hope you had this in mind. Okay, I can use the laptop for prepare presentations. Okay, so you see, you can use computers for games, preparation of documents like presentations. You access internet, and we are having like video conferencing session, right? Online, classes, graphic designing. So different user requirements are there. Now, for making a presentation, you need a simple computer. So if you have a basic configuration, that might be enough. But say let's say you are going to edit video material, then you need more powerful computer. If you take graphic designing, you need more powerful computer, right? So which means when you purchase a computer, you have to, think about these things, right? And then we discuss different types of computers. So computers comes in various forms, different types. Usually we, general, people or general public normally use desktop computers or laptop computers. And then laptop computers also sometimes known as notebook computers, depending on the size of the computer. And there are all-in-one computers where you don't have a separate CPU or system unit, but system unit integrates with the screen itself. So that's we call all-in-one computer, right? So if you are thinking about the space and you need a more a powerful computer, then you may select all-in-one. So then these are the normally we use, and nowadays the tablet computers are quite popular. You have a touch screen, and also your mobile phone, we can consider it as a computer because you are capable of doing a lot of things like search internet, right? Even you can make a presentation through your phone. So we call it smartphones. Now the other two computers are not normally seen. So they use for a special purpose. Now, for example, workstation computers usually used in network environment, right? The workstation computers normally used in a network environment where, they are more powerful computers. And server computers, like as the name says, it says serve different things. Now, for example, are you having a email account? Dharanji, do you have an email account?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Senhiru, you have an email account?
Yes.
Okay, what kind of an email account? From where you have taken this email? Dharanji? From where you have taken this? Like there are different, email providers. From where are you? So which means, for example, I have an email account from Gmail, Ahana School of Computing. So our email account created in a Gmail. So your ones are also, is it from Gmail?
Yeah, from Gmail.
Dhananji?
Yes, sir. I also have Gmail account.
Email account. So which means the Google provide a service, email service for free, right? And that's emails are stored in a server computer. So that computer serves email. So we call email server. So for Gmail, we have email server. Likewise, when you search in Google, you are connected to a web server, right? Even when you connect to a website, so there will be a place where that website is actually stored. So that computer is known as web server. So they serve, right? Likewise, there are file servers and so on, right? Different types. But basically, you can see these two computers, server computers and workstation computers, are not used in general public. Normally, they are used in special circumstances. Okay, so that's about the types of computers. Right. Now, few things we need to discuss. One thing is printed or electronic commercial advertisement on computers, right? So you can look at like what commercial advertisement about computers, what they are, right? Last time I actually showed you a couple of them. Today also I will show you some. And then also like look at the magazine and newspapers. Like I hope, so there are magazines like Pariganika you can use to read, you can learn more about computers. And then there are websites on computers, provides the details, right? And then even you can go to a computer shop. Nowadays it's not possible, but hopefully when things are come to a normal, you can visit a computer shop and you can go there and see what they have, right? So they have different types of devices that also we have discussed. Now another thing that we have discussed last time is peripheral devices. Yes, Dhananji, what are peripheral devices?
All input, output, and storage devices.
Yes, the peripheral devices can be categorized as input devices, output devices, and storage devices. So that means peripheral devices are the devices which connects to computer and they perform various tasks, right? Now, for example, if I take microphone, what it does, Senhiru?
It sends the voice.
Yes, we can input voice. Yes. And if you take a printer, Dhananji, what is the purpose of the printer?
We can get printout of something.
Exactly, you can get the output. So whatever we have inside the computer, you can take it as a hard copy. We call hard copy because monitor is also output device, but it will give you a soft copy, right? Now, for example, when you create a document, you can see the soft copy of the documents on the monitor. But if you need a hard copy, then you can send it to printer. So likewise, you will see these devices commonly we need name as peripheral devices, and the peripheral devices we can categorize as three: input, output, and then also storage. Now when you're given a peripheral device, you should be able to categorize. So we have discussed this as well. Now for example, keyboard, mouse, microphone, they are input devices. Monitor, printer, speaker, they are output devices, but some like touchscreen, you can consider it as both input and output device. Then when you want to store things, right, information, then we can use different disk hard drives, optical disk drives, flash drives, magnetic tape. Okay, I will show you magnetic tape. Now they are not used very frequently nowadays, but earlier and still some places for the data backup we use magnetic tapes. Let me quickly share a couple of images on magnetic tapes. Right, so when you search magnetic tape you will see something like this, but really these are the magnetic tapes we mention in computing. Usually we will get a large circular tape like this, and nowadays we will have cassette like this. Now for example, banks, when they want to data backups, what do you mean by backup? Any idea? What do you mean by the term backup or backing up? Now usually we will say, okay, we need to back up your data in the computer frequently. Why do you say so? Why backing up is important? Senhiru? Yes? Yes? What do you mean by backup? You keep the copy of your data. Now, let's say you have pictures and then you keep a copy. Why do you keep a copy? Some other place. Yes. Sometimes the data can be lost, right? Computer may crash, isn't it? Or when there's a lightning, sometimes the devices get burned. So which means you have to keep a copy of this. So when you want to back up very large quantities of data, right, huge data, then we usually use tape drives. So normally tape drives can hold much data when you compare to other devices. So that's why we will use, but it will be slow. So usually if you take a bank, for example, they have to keep the backups very frequently, because if something goes, then they'll be in problem, right? So that's about the tape drives, and I hope we will discuss this again in later, right? So hard drive, optical drive, and flash drive. I hope you know about the hard drive disks. Optical drive disk means usually CD, DVD, and Blu-rays. We have CD drive, we have that means CD-ROM and DVD-ROM, and then Blu-ray disc. Those are the comes under optical disc. Any idea? Do you have any idea why it's called optical disc? Why we call it optical disc? Yes. The term optical comes in with since most of the data comes under optical disc, that means CD, DVD, and Blu-ray are read using laser beam, right? So because of that, we usually say it's a optical disc. And then pen drives, we call flash drives. Okay, I hope we have already done activity 1.2, isn't it? We have already done activity 1.2. Can you confirm, Dhananji, whether we have completed that one?
Yes, sir, we done it.
We have done it, right? Good. So if you go to the workbook, I think we have done up to, yes, let me, yes, 1.2. Okay, we have recognized the peripheral devices. Right. Now let's go back. Let's look at computer specifications. Now, what do you mean by specification, right? So when you want to purchase something, you should know what do you look for, right? Let's say you are you go shopping to buy a cloth. Dhananji, what do you look? Let's say you are going to purchase a dress. What do you look at it? What features do you look at it when you want to purchase a dress?
Beauty and the size.
Sorry? Beauty and?
Beauty and the size.
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 Oh, size. Okay. Yes. It should be fit to your figure, isn't it? Right. Nicely fit your body. So that one other thing. Beauty, yes. You can compare whether you have nice colors and so on. That one of the things. About Senhiru?
Style?
Yeah, you look at the style. Okay. Yes. Newest trends, you may look at it. What else? What about the price? What about the place that you are going to purchase the dress? Is it really matters? Or are you purchased from anywhere? Dhananji? Are you consider about the price as well, or is it not really something you consider? Sometimes we have a budget, isn't it? We have a limit. Okay, let's say it's within 1,000 rupees, 1,500 or 500, I don't know, right? So you have a budget normally to purchase a dress. So within that budget, you are going to purchase it. So remember that. So likewise, when you're going to purchase a computer, so there also you have to look at different things, right? Okay. Now, what are the things we have to look at it? You see, different person needs different requirement, right? So in the example, you will see you see we have different requirement, right? So different, if the purpose is different, then you need a different requirement. So likewise, as I told you, for computers also you need a different requirement, right? Now let's look at some computer and specifications. The very first thing you should look at is a processors, right? Processor is like a brain, and if you look at outside, this is how the processor looks like, right? This is how the processor looks like. So we sometimes call a chip, and then so depend on how fast, right? It depends on the processor that you choose. So very important one. You know that sometimes even among us, some can work really fast. Some are quite slow, right? So processor is like that. So depend on which processor you are going to select, that determines the speed of the computer. Right? So there are various types of processors are there. Now, when you look at the processor, the one thing you should look at it is called the speed. How fast the processor is, it matters, right? The faster the processor, the faster you can work in with your computer. Right. So let's look at how you are going to talk about the speed. Right. That means, we will worry about, given some time period, how much you can do. Right. So in this particular example, if you look at in the book, you will see this is a blender, and using blender, you are going to make a cup of juice. And this particular case, this is a slow one because you, for a given time, that for the same amount of time for both blenders, you will see different amounts. So this one is more capable. We call it's high speed one, and this one is a slow speed one. So amount of work done in this particular case, the number of glasses that the blender can make, right? It matters, right? But then again, your price might be different, right? So this might be higher price, this might be a low price, right? So there are some differences, but as I told you earlier, speed matters. Now, how do you measure the speed of the computer?
By hertz?
Yes, we use the measurement unit called hertz. Now, in simple terms, I can say hertz means how many, calculations that you can perform within a second, right? So 1 hertz means, the term hertz means for a given second, how many calculations you can done, right? Let's take each of you, like Given a second, how many calculations you can perform? Let's say I will give you some additions and subtractions. How many you can complete within a second? Dhananjay? Given a second, how many calculations you can perform? Senhiru? Maybe one, maybe not even one, right? So we are quite slow. But if you look at computers, I told you hertz, amount of work can be done in given a second. We measured in hertz. When you say megahertz, that you measure this in millions. It's like when you say 1 megahertz, that means for a given second, you can perform millions of instructions. So 1000 megahertz, we say 1 gigahertz. When you take 1000 megahertz, equal to 1 gigahertz. Then 1000 gigahertz, right? So this is how you are going to talk about. Or I actually what I want to type is 1000 hertz is 1000 hertz is 1. So it goes like this. Let me put it in words. So I should not confuse you the table. 1 megahertz, 2 hertz, right? So that means actually 10 to the power 6, because there's a kilohertz as well, right? So that means here, if you take this, right? 1000 hertz means 1 kilohertz actually. And 1000 kilohertz, 1 megahertz. So this is how, the conversion. Maybe you can make a note of this. So as I told you, so when you say hertz, that means the amount of work can be done in per seconds, right? And when you say megahertz, it's like millions, because it's 10 to the power 6, right? 1000 into 1000, 10 to the power 6, 1 megahertz. So that means if you say computer speed is 1 megahertz, it means you can perform, yes, 1 million instructions per second. So you can see how fast the computer is compared to our abilities. Okay, a quick question. If you want to purchase a computer, can you guess what will be the speed of the computer? What might be the speed of the computer? Yes? What will be the speed? What is the speed of your computer? Do you know that? How do you get that one? Yes, you go to start button. Let me show you in my screen. Compare the whole screen. You go to start and you go to computer. So let me take, yes, You go to this PC, right click on it, you go to properties. When you get properties, you will get a window like this, right? In that particular window, right, you see this speed. That will indicate the speed of the computer. How do you go? You go to Windows Explorer, right click on this PC or computer, select properties. You should get this window. And in this particular page, you will see your speed of the computer. Okay, Dhananji, can you try to do this and let me know the speed of your computer? Send it again, your case also. Performs this and let me know the speed of the computer. Yes, Dhananji, were you able to find out?
So mine is 1.44 gigahertz.
Okay, so let me take down Senhir's one. Computer, 1.44 gigahertz. Right. How about Dhananji? If you need help, please let me know. I can help you. If you don't know how to do this, maybe we can share your screen. Then I can help you to find out.
Yes,
Let
I
me.
can't find that one.
Okay, why don't you share your screen? So I will allow you to share the screen. Let me say, wait, I will allow everyone to share their screens. Okay, I will stop. Right. Dhananji, can you share your screen now? Go to share screen and select your one. Then I will tell exactly how to do that. Okay, now go to this PC. Right click on that. Right click, not click, right click. The other one. Yes, exactly. Now go to the properties, go down there, click. We'll wait for some time until we get that window. So usually you should get a window and it tells about your computer configurations. Can you minimize the screen so that see whether we can see whether there are any. Yeah, minimize the window. Minimize meaning like you can go to this one. Yes, minimize it. Next one. Not this. Next one. Now you have close button, resize button, and minimize button. There are 3 buttons. What I want to click is a minimize button. Okay, this is the one. Okay, good. Now, can you tell me what is the speed of your computer? Yes. If you look at here, the processor, go to processor. That's a system. 2.30
gigahertz.
Yes, exactly. You have 2.30 gigahertz. Okay, can you stop sharing? Right. Now, you see in my computer, 2.3 gigahertz. 10 years one is 1.44 gigahertz. And Dhananjani's one is also 2.3 gigahertz. So that's what we call the speed of the computer. Right now we have seen the speed of the processor, and what we discuss is we use the your unit called hertz, and then we have speed units we will measure using megahertz or gigahertz, and we have seen that the speed of your computers. Now the other thing is processor manufacturers. Now there are different people manufacture processors, right? Different people manufacture processors. So they are there. So several processor manufacturing companies are there: Apple Computers, Intel, and AMD. There are many others, but these are the 3 very popular processor manufacturers. Right. Okay. So can you go through your configuration again? And can you let me know who's your manufacturer, right? Are you having an Intel processor? Are you having a AMD or something else? Can you check? Oh, Sainiru, how about you? What is the processor you are having?
Intel one.
Intel one. Okay. So both of you are having Intel processors. Okay. If it is a Intel one, what's the generation of the processor? Again, you can look at the same configuration, right? Same configuration. So in my case, yes. See whether you can find any generation of the computer. What was you have? Okay, that's okay. So let's move to the next one. Right? The processor. There are different types of processors, right? When you say a process, they will have multiple processor units. Now, very old days, we have only one single core. That means you have a single processor unit we call single core. Then after that, we had what we call dual core. Dual means we have two CPUs within the processor. Nowadays, we have quad cores, which means we have four CPUs inside the processor, right? So depend on how many cores you have, we can say your computer, categorize it as single core computer or dual core computer or quad core computer. So now we have discussed, we can measure the speed, then there are manufacturing types, and then there are types of processors. Okay, now if you go more examples, early days we had the computers called Pentium. Now sometimes when you want to purchase a computer, you can purchase from a used computers. Now most of the time these used computers are single core computers or maybe dual cores. But if you go to purchase a new computer, then it comes as a quad core computer. So Pentium version 1, 2, 3, and 4, all these comes under single core because you have one single CPU inside the, the processor chip. In dual core or core to do, so you might see these two, right? So you have two cores. Then the newer versions, Core i3, Core i5, Core i7, Core i9, you have quad core. That means 4 processor cores. Right. So let's refer to 1.3 exercise. Can you perform activity 1.3? And you are supposed to fill this table, right? Can you fill this table and can you share the answer in the WhatsApp? Okay, Dhananji, from the beginning. So let me start with the Dhananji's answer. So in your one, what is the manufacturer? It's Intel, right? Intel. Type of processor, it's a Core i5 Core i5 means what is the type there? Core i5 means it's a quad core, right? The type of a processor should be quad core processor, right? So that's what you have. It's it's i5 processor, and the speed is 2.3 gigahertz. Then if I take Ceneros machine, yes, it's Asus Tech. And it's a single core. And the speed is 1.44 gigahertz. Okay, it should be like this. Okay, right. Okay, now let's go back to the note again. So now I hope this is the place we have confused. So if you have Core i3, Core i5, Core i7, Core i9, you have to identify these. Okay, let me give you. So what is the, you have to identify the name of the manufacturer. You have to identify the name of the manufacturer, type of the processor, and the speed. Another one. Another one. So this is Dell Inspiration 3502. So let's look at the specifications. So I want you to take down the name of the processor, type, and the speed. Okay, let me share with the tablet computers. So this is one of the things, Apple iPad there. So let's go to spec. Yes. Write down the processor name, the type, and the speed. I have shared uh, Apple tablet configuration iPad. I want you to identify the processor, name of the processor, and then type of the processor, and then the speed. Yes. Shall we start from the beginning? Shall we start from the beginning? So let's move the first one. Okay. So can you tell me like what is the name of the processor manufacturer? It's Intel. How many cores? Dhananjay, how many cores are there?
Quad-core,
So this is called i5. If it is i5 machine, how many cores?
4-core,
4 cores. It should be 4 cores. And what is the speed? Yes. It will give you the maximum. The max is 4.2 gigahertz. Okay, here is the second one. Teniru, can you tell me what is the name of the processor?
Ryzen 5.
Yes, Ryzen 5. How many cores? Any guesses? It's not really visible because this is a gaming laptop, right? And it says there are 6 cores. We call hexa-core actually. There are 6 cores normally. විභාගෙට මෙච්චර ඒවා අහන්නේ, but we should know what we have. So the number of cores Ryzen 5. So usually it can be 6 or 12, but let's say 6 cores. We call hexa-core, single core, dual core, quad core, hexa-core, we call it. We call hexa-core. That means you have a 6 cores. What is the speed?
4 gigahertz.
Yes, 4 gigahertz. You see the speed of this. So it's hexa-core 6, 4 gigahertz. So you have 4 gigahertz. Right. So that's the second one. Okay. Let's move to third one. So this is the third one. Yes, Dhananji, can you tell me like what is the name of the manufacturer processor?
Intel.
Yeah, it's Intel processor. What is the type of processor?
Pentium.
It
Single
says
core.
Pentium, maybe single core, right? But this Pentium is a new one, right? Although it says Pentium, it's not an old one. This is a very new one. Actually, if you go to the details of the spec, they say they have 4 cores. So maybe it's a Pentium one, but it's still this is a new one. Because of that, it's not very clear here. It should be quad core. Right? That means you have 4 processors. So what is the speed of the computer? Ananji?
3.1 gigahertz.
Yeah, it's 3.1 gigahertz. Okay. Last one. Senhiru? What is the name of a processor?
iPad OS.
Now that is OS. What is the name of the processor? Chipset. It's
Apple.
Apple. So this is Apple processor. How many cores are there?
Hexa-core
Hexa-core meaning there are 6 processors.
6.
2 processors having 3 gigahertz. 4 processors having 1.8 gigahertz each. You see this speed. So you can see nowadays there are more than 6 cores, and then you see different speeds are also there. Right. Okay. I hope now you got an idea. Actually, we have also discussed the newer versions of computers as well. And then let's move to the next one. Right. Okay, so I think now we are comfortable with the processor speed, the name of the manufacturer, or number of processor cores inside the computer that we have seen. Now let's look at the hardware space, hard disk. Now we discussed for storage, right? If you take a desktop, usually we have a hard disk. But the size of the hard disk specify how much information you can keep. Now, for example, if you take 1 terabyte and 4 terabytes, the amount of data that you can have in 4 terabyte is actually 4 times in 1 terabyte, right? So the more the space you have, the more data you can store. So when you look at the space, usually we will look at, terabytes, gigabytes. So I will type it here, the details of this so that you are familiar with this. So usually, I'm not going to go into bit level. Usually 1024 kilobytes equal 1 megabyte. 1024 megabytes equal to 1 gigabyte. 1024 gigabyte equal 1 terabyte. So there are many others, but for the time being, I will list these two, right? So usually the hard space we measured using different units, megabytes, gigabytes, and then terabytes. Now let's look at the hard disk of my computer. So this is what I have. Now, can you tell me what is the hard disk size of this computer? Hard disk space. So it's not even here. So we have to go to the hard disk. So let me go to my PC and then the properties. So approximately it's 475 gigabytes, but if I remember correct, when I purchased, they said approximately the size of the hard is 500 gigabytes. That's what they say. So I also want to check the size of your computer and report to me, maybe in the chat. Type what is the size of the hard disk.